Hello and welcome to the final episode of Best Bets for this year. What's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary, joined by Newsday's NFL pick columnist Joe Manniello. Joe, how you doing?
Doing good, Matt. How are you?
Doing pretty good. It's been a couple weeks since the last time we talked, but in the championship game, I went 1-1. You went 0-2. Tough break. Yeah, tough break in championship weekend.
Yeah, it was just I picked Buffalo before the playoffs started, so I had to stay with them. I thought they could do it, and they were up 9-0, and
Yep.
next thing you know, it was 21-9, and the game was over. But the Green Bay game, that was a surprising game to me. Tampa Bay, they had a great start, and they played really well, so give them credit.
Absolutely. So it is the Chiefs and the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl. The Chiefs are favored by 3 points in this game. Who do you like?
Yeah, we talked about it before we came on here. The spread, I don't get the spread. I think it should be closer to 4, even 5. So many times I picked against Kansas City because it's not like I'm trying to be bold. It's just I always feel like everyone picks them. So, if you feel another team can beat them, don't be shy to do it. So I really did think Buffalo could do it, but I'm not picking against Kansas City this time. I mean, they're the defending champs. The thing with them is that no matter how well you play, no lead is big enough against this team. So last year they were down 24-0 against the Texans. They won that game going away. 17-7 against the Titans. They won that game going away. 20-10 against the Niners in the Super Bowl. 10 points, and all of a sudden they won 31-20. If you hadn't watched that game and found out the score, you'd think that they dominated the game, and they just came back. They're just such an explosive team. I remember early in the year when they were playing Miami, they were down 10-0. And then within like a quarter, it was like 28-10 within like a whole quarter, from the second quarter to the third quarter. I remember tweeting like, I'm not picking against Kansas City again because they just scored too easily when they get going. They're like unstoppable. I looked back at it last night when I was writing my column. In the last 34 games that Mahomes has started, that 30-4 straight up.
Wow.
So the chances of them not winning this game are just so slim to me. And the spread is basically a pick 'em. I mean, if they win by 1 or 2 points, so be it. You're not going to pick Tampa Bay and hope that they, lose 21-20 or something. So
Right.
The spread to me is basically irrelevant in this pick. And like I said, with Kansas City just has too much for me. I don't see how Tampa Bay stops them. Todd Bowles has done a great job, but I don't think the Kansas City coaching staff gets enough credit, believe it or not. I mean, you got Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy, and Steve Spagnuolo. I mean, that's the three-headed monster. I mean, that's just an amazing coaching staff. We all know about Spagnuolo's history against Brady. I think he'll devise a plan to get in there and frustrate him a little bit with Chris Jones and a defensive line. And if Brady gets hit a couple times, it's a different ball game. I just don't. The Bucs, to me, they're a very good team. I'm not taking anything away from them, but they won at Washington. Then they beat a underachieving Saints team, and then Green Bay. I don't know what happened with Green Bay in that game. They just played one of their worst games of the year, and then they had that questionable decision at the end. So they did win 3 road games, and the weird part is that they're home, and everyone's talking about how this is the first home game and everything for Super Bowl, but it means absolutely nothing to me. I mean, there's going to be 22,000 fans there. There's going to be more cutout fans than real fans. There's no home field edge. I mean, the Chiefs are getting there, arriving on Saturday. It doesn't matter. Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, an underrated defense, Tyrann Mathieu. They got so many playmakers. They've been talking all year about running it back. I tried to be cute and not pick them because I just, I don't always like making the safe pick, but that's one of my points in my column this week. It's okay to make the safe pick, Joe. Just if you think they're going to win, they're going to win, and that's it. Don't try to be cute. And I got, all in on the whole Buffalo thing. They were a hot team, so It wasn't like it was that crazy of a pick. But Kansas City just it has the makings of not only repeating but starting a dynasty here. I mean, 10 years from now, if I told you Mahomes has 5 rings, are you going to be surprised? Not at all.
No.
So I think they win this game. I think it'll be close early because the Chiefs, for some reason, they just don't. They don't like blow teams out early. But interestingly enough, they were up 17-0 when they played Tampa Bay the first time. And then the final score was 27-24, but it was not a close game. They were up 27-10, and the Bucs scored a couple touchdowns in the fourth quarter to make it interesting. So I think this game might play out a little differently from that one. I think the Bucs could score early here, maybe get up 7-0 or 10-3, but then I won't be nervous at all knowing that Mahomes can storm back. And I think this game is might be the first time Brady in 10 Super Bowls suffers his first double-digit defeat. I think this is a Chiefs win 34-20. Not a blowout, like I said, a close game here, maybe 17-14 at the half, and then Chiefs go up by 10, and then they score a late touchdown to make it look more like similar to last year, where they won by 11, but it was nowhere near an 11-point game. Mm-hmm. So I think the Bucs just don't have enough to stop Mahomes in that offense once they get going. The big play factor. So I'm gonna go Chiefs 34, Bucs 20, Mahomes, Andy Reid repeat. Second Super Bowl title in 12 months after not having won in 50 years. So that tells you how things are going in Kansas City.
Absolutely. And I'm right there with you, Joe. This is one where you just can't overthink it. I think you can get yourself into trouble trying to find ways to talk yourself out of the Chiefs. The only thing, and it's not enough to talk me out of the pick, but the only thing that Tampa Bay has going for them is the Chiefs' offensive line being banged up. And potentially missing a couple tackles in this game. But even so, I don't think that's going to be enough for the Bucs defense to contain Patrick Mahomes, as you said, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. They just have so many weapons and can beat you so many ways. And no lead is safe. We saw it against Buffalo, and they were down early, and they came back in the Super Bowl last year, like you said. They just have this confidence about them that no matter what the score is, it seems like they still feel like they're in the game, and for good reason. They tend to always come back, it seems like, but I don't know if this is going to have to be a comeback scenario for them. I think that, Tampa Bay might keep it close for like the first half or so, and then the Chiefs pull away before maybe Tampa gets another garbage time touchdown to make it a little bit closer than it actually is. But like you said, Andy Reid off a bye week too. That's another thing that I feel like we have to, talk about in this game is how good Andy Reid is coming off a bye, having that extra week to prepare. And you could say the same thing about Tom Brady to an extent too, but different situation with him in Tampa Bay. They've had a really good year, but I just don't think this team's in the same stratosphere as the Chiefs. So I'm going to take them. I'll go 30-24. So a 6-point win for the Kansas City Chiefs as they cover as well.
Yeah, Andy Reid is 19-3 in the regular season off a bye. I think Brady's like 18-4 or something like that. But I think that's tells more about the coaching than quarterback and the opponents.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm with you on that. So with that, let's get into a couple of props. So who do you got scoring the first touchdown of the game?
All right. So to me, the way to approach the whole prop thing is just, mostly to have fun. Like you shouldn't be if you're betting on these games. Your big bet should be the game or first half or something, some kind of small parlay if you want to do, but the props should be just up for fun and, just to have some fun and not to get, too crazy about it. So to me, It's all about finding value here. So, and also maybe trying to like outsmart the books if that's possible. So I would think for example, I like the Chiefs to win the game, but like I discussed, they have a tendency to fall behind. So I have a feeling the Bucs might score the first touchdown. So you look there at the possible receivers scoring. You could go Chris Godwin or Mike Evans. You sent me the numbers there, plus 1,200, plus 1,000. But I'm gonna go with the fun one here and go Tom Brady to score first, plus 2,400. So Brady is obviously not known for his running ability, but he's a really, really good sneak quarterback. So if they get the ball here inside the 5 or inside, at the 1, and it's first or second down at the 1. Why not sneak in there? So it's not the craziest play to me, and you're getting such value there. It's worth a few bucks just for fun. So I'll go Tom Brady first to score.
Okay, there you go. That's a fun one. I like that. I'm gonna take a Kansas City Chief. I think that they get the ball first and march right down the field and score. So realistically, I was between two players. I was between Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. But I'm leaning Tyreek Hill. I think that's going to be the guy that they try to feed and get going. And I think he's due for a big play or two, a long receiving touchdown. So he's at plus 650 to score the first touchdown. And like I said, I think that they're going to try to get the ball out of Mahomes' hands quick. And we know what Tyreek Hill can do in space. So I think he's going to be my bet for first touchdown to score at plus 650.
Well, it's funny you say that, you do, because in the first game he had 3 touchdowns. And he had 260 yards receiving. So to me, while that's a good pick, I mean, he's him at the ball. So I think if he could play there, someone look under the radar. I was going to take, but I didn't want to have to say to you.
Okay, there we go. So now we're going to get into an MVP pick, and there's a caveat. We're not going to – an MVP that's not Pat Mahomes, because that's a little bit too obvious. So who would your alternative pick be, Joe?
Yeah, so exactly. So if the Chiefs win, I mean, 95%, it's good. It's almost positive that Mahomes will be the MVP because they tend the bettors vote quarterbacks no matter what. Like if you look back at the Giants against the Patriots, the first one, Eli Manning at the fourth quarter drive. But to me, Justin Tuck or Strahan, one of those guys was the MVP. But they don't usually give it to defenders. I don't think they give it to a defender in this one. But they'll some points. But I'll go with Travis Kelce, a record-breaking year. Mahomes loves throwing the ball. So he was. Then has 15 catches for 150 yards or something crazy like that. And it will be a copy. Safe bet to Mahomes. So you might not even want to touch his game if you're listening here and you want to do props. But if you want to have some fun and take a guy with bigger odds, what are his odds again on Kelce to win MVP?
Yeah, give me a second. I should be able to go and find it.
10-1 or something.
Yeah, I think yes, it's plus 1,000. Yeah.
Yeah, so 10-1. So it's worth a shot. Just have some fun because if you think the Chiefs are going to win, it's going to be Mahomes or one of the top offensive players. So Mahomes, Kelce, or Hill. So you can't go wrong with taking a shot with Kelce.
Absolutely. And I'm kind of with the same mindset as you for my MVP. I'm going with the guy that I picked to score the first touchdown in Tyreek Hill. I think if it's going to be someone other than Mahomes, it's going to be, someone who maybe like a multi-touchdown game, 200 receiving yards, something crazy like that. So I'm taking that first to score a touchdown, hoping he gets another one as well and a couple of huge receptions and just goes off. But I like the logic here of going with either one of those two big name guys in Hill or Kelce. If it's not going to be Mahomes, I feel like those are your two probably safest plays.
Yeah, and one more point about that. Another guy you can think about if you're out there listening and really want to do props, McCole Hardman. I mean, he's also not only is he a receiver who can score, he's also a returner. So if let's say he scores a 99-yard, kickoff return or punt return, and then he gets a receiving touchdown and even an end-around touchdown, who knows? Let's say he has a monster game like that. It'll be hard not to give a guy like that the MVP if he has 3 touchdowns from 3 different aspects.
Absolutely. So last one's a dealer's choice. What's another prop you're looking at?
Yeah, to me, like the props, I always like to pick the over-under national anthem, but I'm not really familiar with either of the people singing this year. So I'm going to stay away from that one, but I always go over on that. And then the Gatorade one is fun, but I'll stick to the game. Based on the whole theory that the Chiefs fall behind early, I'm going to go with one that's backing that up. And team to score first does not win the game. So I think you told me it was plus 130. So if you think the Bucs are going to score first like I do and get out to an early lead, but the Chiefs will come back like they've done so many times, that's a good play there. So I'll take first team to score does not win, implying that the Chiefs do not score first. But, it's obviously a hypothetical one, so you got to take a shot with these.
No, absolutely. I'm going a little bit different route. So for the first play of the game, I'm saying it's going to be a run, which is plus 100. And when you think of these two teams, obviously they're pretty high-powered offense, and there's a ton of big names at wide receiver and tight end and the big name quarterback. So I think a lot of times people are going to anticipate, okay, they're going to be so pass-heavy. But in the NFL, I feel like a lot of times the coaches, and especially in a Super Bowl, they want things to settle in. And what better way to settle in on a drive than just an easy run for 4 yards, set yourself up in second and manageable, and then get your feet going that way. I would be surprised, I think, if either one of these teams comes out throwing. I think it's going to be whoever it is on the first drive. They're going to try to have a long, sustained kind of a drive. And by doing that, I would say it's probably a fairly good guess that they're going to start off running the ball a little bit.
What's the path on that? Is it minus 130 or something?
Yeah, something like that, minus 130.
That's a good call.
Absolutely. So with that, just quick recap on this one. Both Joe and I are on the Chiefs -3 for the Super Bowl. My first to score a touchdown is Tyreek Hill. Joe is going with Tom Brady. MVP, that's not Pat Mahomes. I'm going Tyreek Hill. Joe is going with Travis Kelce. And dealer's choice prop, I'm going with the first play being a run. And Joe is going with the first team that scores doesn't win the game, in picking that it's going to be the Bucs who score and the Chiefs that end up winning. So, Joe, it's been a lot of fun this year. Thanks again for doing it with me. I really appreciate it.
Great time. Great show. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.